Hello everybody, welcome back. So, I believe today is the day, isn't it really? Lots of stuff going on, federal interest rate decision, FOMC, blah 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 blah. So, in the past, when there's been a rate cut, there has been a drop, alright? I'm just going to put it to you there. It's a bullish situation, stimulating the economy as they say, which obviously wouldn't happen immediately. You're going to lower rates, you would expect it to not really be felt across the board for 5-6 months or so. So we're talking the spring next year really is when that's the economy side of things. When you're talking about price action, they'll react initially because we're an emotional bunch of people, aren't we? So our expectations on a rate cut is that it's going to be immediately bullish, but the reality is it's probably going to drop and then go back up again. But we're not going to sit and speculate as to how much or how little they're going to cut, if anything at all, and what the price action is going to be as a result of that, because it's an emotional driven moment. All right, you got some people who are married to the idea of an immediate breakout, you've got some people married to the idea of a massive dump, and so with that you're going to get both sides battling it out. I would sell, oh buy, short long, they'll go all over the place, and only when the dust has settled will we probably creep our way back out of this and break out and go to new highs, I would imagine, on S&P and Bitcoin. So let's focus on Bitcoin specifically. We're on the 4-hourly here, just about to get a golden cross on exponential moving averages. Looks unavoidable, to be honest with you, unless we see a horrendous drop down below 58,850. To be fair, it'd have to drop like now. Really, it does look like we're going to get this today, and that isn't an immediate signal. It's not the greatest thing you've ever seen in the world. It's just a signal, a setup which should spark continuation. Just like any golden cross or death cross, once they take place, you look for the retest and then continuation. There's your death cross, bang, all the way down. There's your retest and down again. We had a little bit of a breakout. A fake out here, fake golden cross, and then death cross, retest, death cross on exponentials, retest down. So look, I mean, nothing's ever perfect. Imagine if there was one perfect indicator. It makes stuff so much easier. You just have a nice life, wouldn't you? Just carry on with your life until the perfect indicator flashed buy or sell, and then you just buy and sell. There is no such thing. And so because there's no such thing, we have to look at everything with a pinch of salt. And go, all right, fine, fair enough. So we had this incoming death cross on the exponentials. Looks like that's been avoided, and the invalidation of that would be if we start to see candles closing and continuing to close beneath 59,300. So still, bulls they've got stuff going on. Definitely got stuff going on. And if we go to the weekly, we still got that obvious money flow index bullish divergence, which previously is marked lows. And we also hit not just the 50 exponential, not just this box of significance, but a descending trend line of support, which effectively is this channel, which is a consolidation formation, which usually breaks to the out because it's a consolidation. And one day it will break out. What day will that be on? I don't know. We've not reclaimed the center of the range. For me, the center is going to be this 20 weekly moving average. We're dancing below, ever so slightly below the 21 exponential moving average. So in fairness, until we've got above these areas down here, this is the resistance of all resistances. And a rejection from here is 65% more likely than a breakout. But, if we have a 50 basis point or a 25 basis point, if the buys outweigh the sells, then you'll see a breakout. And the next major resistance will be firstly this box, and secondly the top of the channel. And then once the channel's broken, that's it. $100,000, baby. $200,000, baby. 5 million, thousand, quadrillion, bazillion dollars, baby. Well, it should break out, that's all I'm saying. Right, so that's Bitcoin. There's nothing much more to say about that. Ethereum dragging its feet way less bullish than Bitcoin from a chart perspective. So we've not even got above this Bollinger Band on the 4-hourly. I wouldn't get too concerned about it though, to be fair. Like I made that video on Ethereum yesterday, and I think it's a reasonable bet to get stuck into Ethereum at this point. Mostly because of the old Bitcoin dominance chart hitting that major resistance, the resistance of all resistances, the resistance which will never break. That's a joke, by the way. Of course it can break. But the first major horizontal of significance on the dominance chart, roughly around this area, be looking for a rejection, and a rejection can take us down maybe as much as 10%, sparking what is known as alt season. Like a retest of that 200 exponential on the weekly would be the lowest I'd expect it to go. I'd certainly be cautious rotating back into Bitcoin at that point, just for safety purposes. But if it does break down from there, you've got the 200 simple down here at 49, and then obviously you could mark off areas all the way back down towards 40. That would be a true and long-lasting alt season. But until we see anything close to that, it's just an expectation that we have to, I suppose, just recognize that Bitcoin is the most dominant force. What's his face? Michael Saylor. There's only one crypto asset, and that's Bitcoin, and that's why the dominance chart looks like that. So he is right. Unfortunately, he is right. So, long story short, we are approaching a significant milestone in Federal Reserve monetary policy today, and the effect of that will only be seen when it happens. We can't predict any way it's going to go. We don't know if it's going to go up. We don't know if it's going to go down after those results are through. But I still strongly believe that we are going to start moving up towards the end of this year and throughout next year, generally speaking. And so, you got to, like Matt Damon said, you've got to be brave. Fortune favors the brave. That's what he was saying at the peak of the bull market in 2021, wasn't he? So, really what he needs to say is fortune favors the brave in moments like this, when we are hitting certain areas of significance support-wise. We do have some indication of a low being formed on Bitcoin. We might break out on stocks. We might break out of that formation on stocks. So with all of that, would be relatively bullish, I have to say. However, even though we've got, I suppose, areas like on this Ethereum chart where we could go, all right, there is evidence for a move from here, maybe even a full reversal. If stocks reject from the all-time highs and come down to those areas that I was talking about a couple of weeks ago when we were getting particularly afraid of stocks, just before that dump down to the center of that Bollinger Band, then you have to think, all right, well, if stocks come down, then everything's going to come down. I'm not saying that stocks are the best thing you've ever had, but it's all about money, and it's about risk appetite. And if you don't have the appetite to buy into the S&P, you're unlikely to have any appetite for crypto, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, and for all those amazing pieces of blockchain technology that are clearly going to go to the moon and beyond. So we just got to think about it in that sense. To be perfectly honest with you, all eyes on the clock. Wait for the old man to speak, and then sit back and watch the ride. Just for transparency, I've got some Ethereum. I bought some Ethereum yesterday. Before I made that video, I'm in a leveraged position on Ethereum with a stop loss, which is just ever so slightly in profit. And will remain there. If I get stopped out, so be it. I do obviously have a bias, which is part of the overall fractal that I've shown you a million times now on the total 2. And this is the situation that I strongly believe in, and this is, I think, what we should be expecting over the next 12 months. I say it over and over and over and over again. It's my expectation. It's my projection. It'd be a bit crazy to call it a prediction. It's a guide. And so I believe that prices down here will be considered cheap in 12 months. And you'd look back and go, obviously, it was going to break out at some point, and it was going to make new all-time highs at some point. So I'm married to that particular bias. I'm 50% in crypto, throughout the last couple of months, really, allocating dollar cost averaging and whatnot. I was at one point up to 70% allocated, and then I took some chips off the table as I was waiting for us to come down. We've come down now, and so I allocated another whopping amount and just put it into Ethereum, which is, I suppose, in my opinion, a bit more of a guarded position. So I don't see anything particularly wrong with just getting in there for on Ethereum in the hope, I suppose, that we get a rejection on the dominance chart and it gets felt by Ethereum and the top caps first, and then I can rotate from that into the lower caps afterwards. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no big deal. There's worse things to be holding on to, isn't there, than Ethereum? Favour fortunes the brave. So fortune favours the brave. But patience also, I think, favours everybody. So, look, might not see a brand new all-time high across the crypto market today, but we are, as far as time is concerned, of the cycle, generally speaking, I would be expecting over the next month or two some serious moves across the board for crypto. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. That's all there I have to say about it. Surprisingly, the analysis that I've just given you, despite picking little bits here and there, is exactly the same thing as I was saying last December after predicting the alt season that we had just gone through. So I'm predicting something similar to that now again. So probably another few months worth. Well, it might not start today, obviously, but over the next couple of months we should start to see evidence of an alt season of some description. And then from that, we should get continuation. Probably, as far as I can see, and what I would expect, over the next 3 to 6 months, we should have had another large alt season, bigger than the one that we saw last October all the way through to March. So I'm looking for a similar kind of rally, to be honest with you. And if we don't get it, no big deal. I'm expecting something similar to that. The only thing that's going to stop that would be the stock market, so we do have to keep our eyes on that, and geopolitical issues, black swans. Anyway, that is all. Nothing much more to say. Hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.